Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling, the next in my Hot Topic series, we're going to be doing a two-part class today. Hot Topic, Interconnectedness. What does that mean? We're going to find out in just a moment. First, I'm just going to ask everyone to mute your microphones, okay? Thanks a lot. And I'm going to do a quick introduction before we begin. So, I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour and the next hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words that you're going to learn and use them actively so I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. I'm going to put this image on screen, the one we saw a moment ago. And as I get to know who you are, I want you to look at this image, think about it. You should be able to see it now, and tell me if it looks familiar or what it reminds you of. Okay, so let's start with, let's see who I've got here. I've got Igor and I've got Mustafa. Okay, so Igor, is this your first class with us?
Hello, I guess it's my second class with you.
Class.
Yeah, I took
okay.
class with you a long time ago, maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
Okay. I don't recognize your picture. Maybe you had a different picture back then.
Yeah, probably.
Igor, what does that image remind you of? Does it look familiar? On the screen, do you see it?
Yeah, I see this picture.
What do you think of when you see that image? A lot of trees, okay, yeah.
Many trees connected.
Many trees connected. Oh, and the name of the class is, the theme of the class is interconnectedness. Let's keep that in mind. I'm going to ask each of you for an opinion about the picture before we read the article and talk about it. The second person I saw was Mustafa. Hello, Mustafa. How are you? Are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Mustafa. Are you there?
Yes. Hello.
I don't hear Mustafa. Ah, there he is. How are you, Mustafa? Where are you from?
I'm from Egypt. I'm from Egypt.
Okay, nice to have you. So, Mustafa,
nice to have you too.
What could you add about the image? He said, I see a lot of trees and they seem to be connected. What would you say? Does that remind you of anything?
I can't say something. It's a tree, and it is it's about the culture. It's a culture. Sometimes use some sheep to make her okay. I have trouble in connection. you can ask another one.
I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
It is a complicated. It is a complicated
Okay,
shape
so let me say
with
hello
with a
to.
tree.
I can't see all of your names here. Who's on the very end?
Probably me. Yes.
Well, I think we have a bit of a delay. So let me see if everyone else can hear me. Artur, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I do.
That's right, Artur. Can you hear me okay, or is there a delay? Because I'm hearing Mustafa very, very late. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you okay. Just
Okay. Okay, maybe there's a problem between Egypt and Portugal because I'm hearing him late. So we've talked about there's a theme of nature. We've got trees, of connectedness.
okay.
So what would you add? Does it remind you of
Well,
anything? Have you seen something like this before?
uh, probably no, but I think that the position, how the trees were placed, like around, it resembles the Earth.
Oh, interesting. So it's kind of symbolic.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think everyone's having trouble hearing me.
Well, yes, I think.
Is everyone hearing me in a delay? Do you hear me late? Because I'm speaking and I'm hearing a big pause between my question and your answer. So does everyone hearing a delay when I speak?
I
Or
hear
is it just
everything okay, but seems like you got the message a little bit later.
all right? Let me let me leave the hangout and rejoin you in a second because it could be my connection, okay? So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back, okay? I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Okay.
Okay. What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
It
we can
Alright.
seems
hear you.
much better.
Okay. I still have to download the Verbling app, so I'm trying to do that. Okay, now it's working. Okay, fine. All right. Some other teachers were having problems this morning as well, so we gotta figure this out, but I can't do it right now. Let me just put the picture back on screen. There we go. All right. So, as I was saying, I wanted to introduce myself to you and get to know who you are, and just ask you about this picture. So far, we've heard there's a theme of nature because there seem to be trees. Like the title, like the theme of the lesson, interconnectedness, they seem to be connected. And Artur, I think you said that it could represent the Earth because it's in a spherical shape. So
Yes.
maybe it has. Okay, very good. Let's get one or two other opinions before we go into the article itself. Edson, I didn't talk to you yet. Where are you from, Edson?
I'm from Mexico City.
Okay, nice to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
And what comes to mind when you see this image? For
Well,
you.
because of its circle shape, it reminds me of the world, and a lot of words. Circular, yeah, circular shape reminds me of the world, and a lot of words come to my mind, like globalization maybe, and well, we can see trees and maybe some fruits or kind of fruits. So maybe we are going to talk about food issues in a global scale, maybe.
Sounds good to me. Sounds about right. And
Okay.
there's also some details between the trees. I know maybe you can't see it that well. I'll try to see if I can make it just a little bit bigger. There's also some details between the trees which might give you some other clues as well. So let's just say hello to Igor number 2. We said hello to the other Igor. Igor number 2.
Me,
Igor, Siamese cat Igor.
Okay.
Look at some of the details and tell me what else do you think is whoever created this? I don't know exactly who created this image.
I don't know. The whole image looks like a snowflake to me.
Looks like a snowflake. Okay.
Like a snowflake scaled up, very scaled up for, I don't know how to say that.
Absolutely. So do you think there's a connection between the snowflake image and the trees and things like that inside of it?
It's like the whole image. When you look at it as a whole, it gives me an image of a snowflake. It's like every snowflake has a unique shape. And this one is quite unique too. And if you look at it closely, you will see that it's kind of circular shape and it has a lot of trees connected to each other and some kind of, I don't know what is this in the middle, but it looks like a corn to me, like a cornflake, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you're right. I think it's corn. It looks like maybe corn and something else, and wheat
And so
maybe.
I think we will be talking about how a lot of things that are not usually connected can be connected to each other. It's like everything is
connected. Right? Sounds about right. There's one more reason why I showed this image. Let's see if Yuki can figure it out. Yuki?
Yes.
Think culturally for a minute, because I know you're interested in culture. Does this design or something similar remind you of anything cultural in other parts of the world? Perhaps in Tibet.
Yes, I already skimmed today's text.
Oh, you cheated.
I know the today's theme is would be today we're talking about the mandala and forest research. I think this image is mixed image of these concepts.
Right. So can you say something about mandalas? Have you seen one? Have you ever seen one being created?
Yes,
By the way,
I
tell us what it is, just in case someone here doesn't know. What's a mandala? Do you know?
Mandala is a kind of tools used by Tibet monks. It is a tool for meditation for them. They draw a picture, a very detailed picture about the world, about the Buddhism world. And
word or world? I didn't understand.
Sorry, Buddhism world.
World, okay, fine.
And it is picture is very picture is drawn by sometimes by sand. It is very detailed. So when monks see pictures, they just think nothing. Just seeing, they are just seeing picture, meditating, and they believe it to get to the enlightening.
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Sorry.
Okay. So when they're drawing, or when they're maybe even looking at the image of the mandala, which could look something like this, it's possible. It's very, there's lots of sort of patterns in it. Then they kind of forget about the world around them, their immediate reality, right? It kind of takes them out of everyday life. So before they get to enlightenment, I think it's meditation because it takes them out of the everyday. Does that sound about right?
Yes, every day they see the picture.
What I mean is that they stop thinking about their everyday life.
Yes, yes, everything in the world. They when they see the picture, they try to forget everything in the world. Also, they try to forget themselves, existence of themselves, and just they try to be.
And what's the difference between Japanese Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhism? Because it's called Buddhism, it's not the same?
I think Buddhism is came to Japan from Tibet through China. When they came to Japan, the concept of Buddhism little changed. I think Buddhism in Japan is more religious, and there are statue, wooden statue symbolize the Buddha. If you go to the temple, you will see the Buddhist statue, wooden statue, and you'll pray. You can pray in front of the Buddhist statue. I think Tibetan original Buddhism is more, how to say, more philosophic and more principle.
More philosophic, yeah. So philosophical. So in Japan, it's more, what's the word? More about idolatry. So you're actually directing your thoughts to the Buddha figure. But in so it's more like Hinduism in a way, because you've got actual idols. It's interesting, very interesting. Well, I think you're all on the right track here, because there's elements of everything that was mentioned. Nature, interconnected. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, one thing. In Japanese Buddhism, there exists a goddess of mercy, like Maria in Christianism. That is not exist in original Tibetan original Buddhism. So
there's a goddess.
Really? Mercy, goddess of mercy. It's a female image of Buddhism.
Mm-hmm. I must have missed that one. I didn't know about that. I know about the sumo wrestler, the happy sumo wrestler guy. I think that's Buddha. The guy who looks like a sumo wrestler, kind of fat, very happy. You know, the main Buddha.
I think it is not Buddha. It is from China. It is a symbol of lucky.
I thought it was Japanese.
Yes, Daifuku. He's just a symbol of wellness and happiness. Because he's fat.
He looks like a sumo wrestler, so I thought he was Japanese. Well, what we're going to do is start off with a little bit of vocabulary. As I said here in the description and on Verbling, we'll read an op-ed that's an opinion article in a newspaper that discusses the interconnectedness of the world in a funny way. But we'll be discussing how media can use metaphor to show a deeper understanding of events. And it's good for you because it's a very good skill in any language, but particularly in a foreign language, to understand how metaphors are being used. So that's why we're introducing this with the image of the mandala, because that's the metaphor you're going to read about. So we've got our links there, but don't worry about those links just yet. So just quickly, class, since I mentioned metaphor already, what's an analogy? And is there a difference between simile, metaphor, and analogy? And finally, what do you think the purpose of these things is? We call these literary devices. But they don't have to be used just in literature. They can be used even in nonfiction writing. So let's get a few ideas about these questions first. Okay? What is meant by analogy? Any ideas?
An analogy is a way to compare something to another thing by comparing very similar things. It's like this thing,
or maybe not similar things too.
Yeah. But it's like this man is bad and show another man who is bad too, and you can compare them, and this will be an analogy.
Right. Okay, so it's absolutely, I agree, it's absolutely a kind of comparison. I would just say that it's about things that are very different, that don't appear to be the same, but they are the same, right? So
yeah, they're the same in the core.
In the core, exactly. Okay, and class as a whole, no one in particular, who can tell me the difference between those three things? Just because these are sometimes confused. So a simile, a metaphor, and an analogy.
Well,
they're all comparisons.
I think simile is exactly when you compare things that are really similar to each other. Just get the word simile.
Don't get confused with the word. There's a little more to it.
Okay, I'm trying to say what I think. Metaphor is, I think it's about describing some event through the words that are not usually used to describe that. It's not about some literal comparison, but some figurative comparison, like a
Very good. Yes, figurative is the word. Absolutely.
Analogy,
so the opposite of literal. Mm-hmm.
And analogy, I think I've already talked about that.
Okay, and let me get some other ideas too. We got plenty of
I think metaphor is a more concrete image, like you are very wild, like wolf. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's good also because it can be an image, whereas the other ones are not necessarily images. So metaphors can be images. That's a good point too.
Just an example of similar example. And metaphor is explanation or image with which you can explain some some difficult things.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
go ahead.
Okay. For example, some physical. You don't understand about physics. There are many difficult ideas in physics, in the world of physics. You can use analogy explaining the difficult ideas of metaphor. Like it is like a snow field, yeah, kind of.
A snow field? What's a snow field?
Not
sure I understand
for example, some physics idea is difficult, like I don't know, some physical field.
Like everything in physics, it's all difficult.
Yes, I don't know well about physics, but some physical field is like you can imagine the snow field, yeah.
What's a snow field? I don't understand what that means. You mean literally a field with snow in it?
Yes, like someone snowing in the snow field. Someone you can compare someone with parcel. Yeah, snow field is a cosmos. It's a kind of something kind of this. You can use a metaphor explaining difficult ideas of physics.
Okay, I got the explanation, but I'm not sure about the image. But that's okay. I got the general idea. By the way, just one thing that Yuki didn't mention about similes. The difference between a metaphor and a simile is that a simile has the word like or as. And he used the example, wild like a tiger, right? So like immediately means that it's a simile. You're a tiger is a metaphor. You're wild like a tiger is a simile. So simile is a figure of speech, and metaphor is figurative language, usually an image. Is that clear, everyone? Make sense? Yes? No? Yes? No?
No. Could you please explain a little bit more? I don't get it.
Let's give it. Well, Edson, not Edison. Edson, I want you to give me an example. You give me an example, and I'll tell you what you're using: simile, metaphor, and analogy. So give me an example, whatever comes into your mind.
Well, I understand metaphor and analogy, but simile.
Give us an example. Give us an example of metaphor. Give us one.
Metaphor.
Yeah. Whatever comes into your mind. Don't worry about it. Just give me a quick example. Whatever you can think of.
Metaphor is kind of talking about something, but avoiding to, I don't know, maybe using another example or the same situation with different characters.
The explanation is great, but give me a concrete example. Give me a metaphor.
A metaphor.
Yeah.
It's just that nothing comes to my mind. I know that I know. But it just
okay. So I'll give you one. Let's see. So,
John,
yes.
In this example, taking class on verbally is like take a real class.
It is a real class.
No, I mean physical.
Oh, okay.
Like I mean, seeing it can be ample or similar.
It's not really a simile because like has a special meaning with a simile. Here, it's like means similar to. Well, I guess that's about the same. It's almost the same, but the difference is in a simile, there's an image. So, for example, how about this? Being inside the classroom in Verbling is like being in a spaceship. It's like a spaceship, and we're all, because I'm looking at Edson's picture, and we're going through space. So it's like we're traveling together. So that's more of an image. It's more metaphorical, and it has the word like. You're slow as a snail. I use the word like or as. I've got a simile. If I say stop being a snail, I'm using a metaphor. That's really the only difference. Simile has those particular words. But in both cases, they're figurative, not literal, and they're images. And they're also, as Igor said at the beginning, they're forms of comparison. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to read this very short article. I've got a few exercises for you to do, but we can do them at the end. Well, actually, hang on a second. Can we do them at the end? Yeah, we can do them at the end. I've picked out some difficult words for you, but I think we're going to do them. Let me just take a look how difficult they are. I didn't do the collocations because I didn't find too many, and this we can do at the end. So let me just go back to this one. Okay, we've got enough. We can do one per person here, actually. This is really short. So what I want you to do is see if you can quickly match the definition with the keyword, and then we're going to read the article and we'll double check our answers. This is really short, so we can do this right now. So let's start with Artur. I want you to read the first definition, notice the word in bold, and see if you can match it to one of the big fancy words in the left column. Okay, could you read the first definition for us?
Okay, at the end of mandala's creation, its grains of sand are poured into running water to demonstrate the short-lived nature of life.
That's right. So you have to find a synonym for short-lived.
I think it's ephemeral.
Ephemeral. I think I agree with you. So ephemeral is a fancy way of saying short, basically. And I can't see who's next to you. Oh, Edson, can you read the second one for us?
Okay. Now numbering about 1,000 species in the United States, they are estimated to be taking over public lands at 4,600 an area of land a day.
So it's a word that means acres.
Acres?
Acres. That's right.
Acres. Okay.
So I thought that was a good word to put here because it's not in the metric system, so people probably don't know what it is, or they might not have heard of it. So an acre is an area of land in the, I guess that's in the royal system of measurement, the English system, I suppose, because that's what we use in America. Or it could just be American, I don't really know. But anyway, and no one can tell you what an acre is, but it's an area of land. I don't know how much land. And Igor won. Not Igor Siamese cat Igor, but Igor with girlfriend Igor. Can you read number 3 for us? Uh-oh. Igor, are you there? Okay, I don't hear Igor 1. Let's go to Siamese cat Igor.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, please.
Each tree that I measured was part of a 1,000 square foot plot selected as a measure of the health of the wider park. I think most definitely it's indicator.
1 second, please. Hold on. Just have a message here. Hold on a second. Indicator as measure. I agree. So they're not exactly the same word, but in this context, they're synonyms. Okay, maybe this. Say again?
Indicator of health. I think it's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. Indicator of health, a measure of health. Maybe this is easier than I thought it would be. Wow, you're all getting it right. Yuki, what do you think about number 4?
Through my internship, I found myself part of an ecological mandala, each tree related to the grain of colored sand. I think it overlapped, yeah?
Each tree overlapped.
No.
Doesn't sound quite right for some reason.
Ephemeral.
Well, we used ephemeral, so it can't be ephemeral. We used it already.
Yeah.
By the way, sometimes I make mistakes, so I hope
overlapped.
Something's wrong here. Nope, can't be overlapped. No. It can't be because...
Akin.
Akin is correct.
Akin.
Akin. So now you know what akin means. If you didn't know before, it means related to.
It is really akin to the grain. Okay.
Right. So akin, kin from kinship or next of kin. In your will, you have to name a next of kin. Kin means a blood relation. So if I have a child, the child is my next of kin. So akin to means related to. Clear?
Yes, it means the same kind of, yeah.
Same kind of, yeah. All right. That only leaves one more answer. So, Igor Lima, are you back?
Yeah.
Mr. Lima?
Here.
Okay, great. Could you read the last definition for us? There's two bold words. Okay? So I did that because there's only one word left to match. So you have to figure out which bold word I'm talking about. Could you read that final fifth definition for us?
He observed a single square meter of forest floor many times each week for a year, noticing how can I pronounce this?
Noticing intricacies.
Noticing intricacies in the way that nature's systems share parts.
Okay, very good. So I've got two bold words there, and there's only one word remaining in the column on the left for you to substitute. So you have to figure out, and the word remaining is overlap. That's the only one left. So you have to figure out where it goes. Does it mean intricacies or does it mean shared parts? So remember, you have to use the context here to help you. Shared parts.
Shared parts. Yeah, overlapped. Yeah.
Overlapped. How do you say overlapped in Portuguese, by the way? What do you think a synonym would be?
Sobrepor.
Sobrepor. Okay. That sounds very literal. Is that a word? Sobrepor? Maybe you're right. I didn't. Oh, okay. So it's the exact same word. Okay, fine. Over is sobra, and por is to put. Overlapped. So yeah, here it means to share. The systems share part of each other. But a way to think about overlapping is that the edge of one thing is touching or on top of the edge of another. So my hands can overlap if I put my fingers between each other, weave my fingers together, something like that. All right. So this was just to give you a little bit of vocabulary, because some of the vocabulary is a little tricky. What we're going to do for the rest of the class is read this short op-ed. It was written by a high schooler, so a 17 or 18-year-old girl, but it's an interesting op-ed. It was in the New York Times recently, like just a day or two ago. We're going to do the word formation thing later, if we have time at the end. In the second hour, we're going to use the concept of metaphor, simile, and analogy to analyze another news article and to look at a physics problem, because Yuki brought up physics. So I've got a physics problem for you. And we're going to talk about how to use analogies to help you with your English and how it's used in the media. Okay, so let's read through this article, and that's probably will bring us to the end of class. If we have a few minutes, we'll do the second exercise, and then we'll continue in the next hour. So Artur, can you take the first paragraph for us? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Igor was the last person, so we're on to Igor. I don't know where we are. I'm going to start with Artur. I forgot, I lost my place. Artur, can you take the first paragraph for us?
Sure. Racing through our school lobby on the way to recess my sixth grade. Recess. Way to recess my sixth grade classmates, I stopped short. Usually we would barrel onto the street for 20 minutes of sunlight, but a Buddhist monk dressed in brilliant saffron robes caught our attention. He was creating a mandala. In this ancient art form developed by Tibetan Buddhist monks, millions of grains of multicolored sand are painstakingly painstakingly poured into complex patterns. After hours of work, the sand painting is only 1 square meter, yet symbolically portrays our entire universe in its shifting complexities.
Okay, very good. By the way, what is recess? Do you know what that means?
Recess.
This is something very American. I don't know if you have it in other places.
It means break
Break.
in British English.
Well, in American English, it has a very particular meaning because it's what you do for kids so that they don't fall asleep in the middle of class.
Yeah,
About
it means after school. Yeah.
not after school, but during school.
Okay.
So everyone has 1 hour of break during school where they go outside and, when you're a kid and you scream wildly and run in circles. That's called recess. So
I know recession.
it's a little different.
Yeah.
There's only two times we use recess in American English: for kids and for Congress. And since Congress act like children, it makes sense. When kids, they're going to lose their attention span, so they have to go outside and run around. But Congress also has a recess, so they can also, I guess, they run around too. The people that make the laws. Anyway, those are the two contexts where you use recess. Okay, so you can figure that the person who wrote this article lives in a very international place, because you don't often see Buddhist monks making mandalas when you're out on recess. It gives you an idea about her background. By the way, if there's any questions, just ask at any time, okay? So Edson, can you do the second paragraph for us?
Okay. 3 years later, I thought of the mandala when I began an internship with Ellen Pehek, a principal research ecologist in the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. For months, I helped her measure the diameter of trees in Inwood Hill Park as part of a study on the effects that invasive plant species threaten.
Let's say that again. Invasive
Plant species. Species.
Good.
Threatening non-native ones have on forest health. Tough and resistant invasive plants spread easily and suppress native species. Now numbering about 1,000 species in the United States, they are estimated to be taking over public lands at 4,600 acres a day, according to the Plant Conservation Alliance.
Good.
A public-private partnership created to protect native plants. Each tree that I measured was part of a 1,000 square foot plot selected as an indicator of the health of the wider park. By showing which species pose a threat, Ms. Pehek is helping to refine the city's fight against invasive plants. Through my internship, I found myself.
This word is through. Because
through
before we had tough, which looks almost the same, and then this one is through.
Through my internship, I found myself part of an ecologic mandala, each tree akin to a grain of colored sand.
Yeah. Here's our analogy. Through her internship, you know what internship means?
Yeah, it's like practice
before
you get your title.
Exactly. So before you get hired, when you're still a student, you basically work to get experience, but it's done officially. So through her special internship here at Parks and Recreation, she was in a kind of mandala, an ecological mandala. What do you think is the analogy she's trying to say? she's going to explain it in a moment, but what do you think so far? I found myself as part of an ecological mandala, each tree akin to a colored grain of sand, a grain of colored sand. What do you think she means by that? What's the comparison? How's it like a mandala? By the way, it's just your opinion, no right or wrong. Maybe you don't think it's like a mandala. It's up to you.
Well, I think because she was helping, working.
And what kind of work was she doing? Is that clear in the paragraph?
Kind of research.
Mm-hmm. Was she looking at statistics and numbers?
Yeah, kind of, maybe.
It's part of it. It's part of it. Specifically, right? It's true. She is looking at those things because she's talking about numbers, but specifically she's looking at trees and plants. I mean, very specifically in the park. Maybe she has to look at statistics to see how many species there are, but she's probably out there actually looking at trees because she's talking about specific varieties of invasive plants. By the way, class,
I think she's talking about the plant species, non-native ones, invading soil of American soil, and she compared mandala with a map of plant species nowadays in America. It is multicolored, and it is expanding. So
each plant is like a grain of sand.
Yes.
Because there's so much diversity.
There's so much diversity, and there are many kinds of species nowadays in America.
Okay, very good. And okay, so we're going to find out more about the problem that she's facing. But I think that's a good definition, so we can start to see what the analogy is. And this mandala is a very important image to start the article with. Without it, we might not have understood the situation very well. So she's going to try to explain it to us. So, Mr. Lima, can you take the third paragraph for us?
Okay. The biologist David Haskell of
Sewanee, I guess. I don't know.
Sewanee, the University of South recently applied the concept of mandala to his study of Chinese flora. He observed a single square meter of forest floor many times each week for a year, noticing intricacies
Say it like
the
this.
way that
Intricacies. With a stress on the first syllable. Intricacies.
Intricacies.
Not intricacies. Wait. A sílaba tônica fica na primeira sílaba. Intricacies.
Intricacies.
Okay. A little less on the trick. More on the in. Intricacies.
Intricacies.
Good.
Intricacies in the way that nature's system overlapped. In his book, The Forest Unseen, a year like woodpeckers and titmice, we join a flock of chickens in winter. More birds mean more chickadees in winter. More birds means more eyes to keep watch for walks. By opening his mind to the lessons of mandala, Mr. Haskell developed a scientific technique that enabled him to examine closely, yet see boldly, the flores that surround.
Okay, very. It is difficult, and it was written by a high school student too. So it is difficult, but together as a class, we're going to make sure that everything is clear. Plus, you have good vocabulary, very good vocabulary. Not necessarily the words, these names, woodpecker, titmice, chickadee, they don't matter. They're just names of birds. But you've got good vocabulary like overlapped, intricacies, and even words like broadly and closely. So these are words which are less frequent in the language. So it's good to observe them in a real text and get to see how they're used. So in this paragraph, the scientist had an interesting technique, and it's related to the mandala. Well, we've got time we're going to continue this in the next hour. We've got time to maybe read 2 more paragraphs if we do it quickly. Then in the next hour, we're almost on the article, actually. Let me see how many we've got. 1. Yeah, we've got 1, 2. I can't see how many article. 1. I think we got 3 paragraphs. Okay, Igor. Let's see if we can just get to the end of this article before we begin the next class, and then we'll talk about it. So, Igor, can you take the next paragraph here, where it says at the end? This is Igor, Siamese cat Igor, Russian Igor. Mr. Siamese cat, are you there? Uh-oh, I don't hear Igor. Okay, we'll get back to you, Igor. Yuki, could you take the next one, and then we'll get back to Igor.
Okay. At the end of the mandala's creation, its grains of sand are poured into running water to demonstrate the ephemeral nature of life.
You can also say ephemeral with an "eh" sound.
Ephemeral nature of life. In this way, not only can a mandala teach the concept of interconnectedness, how you can understand the entire forest by studying a square meter of ground, but it also can serve as an example of impermanence.
Wait, impermanence.
Sorry, impermanence. Sorry.
Good.
An example of impermanence. At the heart of impermanence is change, sometimes informs that we don't expect. In our intensifying battle against invasive species, some still advocate ridding our country of these plants. The threat is serious, but the true impact on invasive species is not yet known, and total welfare in this arena has proved in the past to be a costly mistake.
Okay, so we're going to discuss this in the second hour. I need to stop to begin the next class, okay? Think about that. Impermanence, invasive species. We're going to find simpler ways to say those complex ideas in just a minute, because the words are a little fancy, but in fact they're talking about things that we can understand easily. Okay, I'll be back in just 1 minute to start the next class. Hope to see you there. We're going to take what we learned, we're going to discuss this article, and we're going to use it to look at 2 other situations that you'll find interesting in the media using analogies and metaphors. Okay, bye for now. See you in just a moment.
Bye for now.